Alright guys, I am here with my review of Ring of Honor's Boiling Point 2012 from Providence, Rhode Island. Some crazy stuff went down on this show, but to be honest with you, it didn't really have like a packed card or anything going in. However, some of the matches felt, even though they felt thrown together, they still did deliver. They had some that I didn't think were going to be nearly as good as they were, and it just overall it did come to a good show that was worth $15 in my opinion. So I did enjoy the show, and like I said, there was some crazy stuff that did happen. Not so much stuff to set up future storylines or angles or anything, but just overall some good wrestling, and I enjoyed watching it tonight. So the show starts off with Roderick Strong with Truth Martini versus Mike Mondo. Mondo comes out, he gets stuck in the curtain, but it was still a good opening match. I thought these two did a good job out here. Roderick's nose actually gets busted, but he wins with a sick kick. They did a lot of, their spots, their finishers, back and forth, near falls, the whole thing, and I thought it just worked out to be a great match. One of the better matches on the show, actually, in my opinion. But Mondo tries to shake his hand after, but Roderick refuses. And then we get Matt Taven versus Antonio Thomas versus Vinny Marcella versus QT Marshall. And they have this guy, I guess it's a local company, PWF Northeast. He comes out to do commentary. And this is a four-way match to compete for a Ring of Honor contract, which, well, I'll get into that later. But these guys are fighting for a contract in Ring of Honor, and Marcella gets a spacer knocked out of his ear in this match. And he reminds me of a mix between Jeff Hardy and Vampiro. That's just the first thing that comes to mind when I see this guy. But all four of these guys were really good in this match. Antonio hits a fisherman suplex on Marcella while he has the leg hooked of QT Marshall. And so he has the leg hooked back, and then he's got this guy in a fisherman suplex, and then Taven jumps off the top and does a splash on all three of them. And I just thought QT Marshall's knee has just been destroyed. However, he was fine, but oh my god, did that look nasty. Just crazy spot there. So Marshall hits a running reverse power slam dominator type move on Taven for the win, and he gets the contract. But these guys worked hard here. I enjoyed this match, and I actually got into it, so I do have to give all four of these guys credit. But anyway, what I was going to say earlier is what's funny about this whole contract thing is I have the DVR set to record the Ring of Honor TV show, so I got it playing in the background while I'm watching the pay-per-view. And later on in the show, I look up and I see Matt Taven on the show. And I'm just wondering, this entire contract thing, I assumed it would be given to Taven, even though I have heard about him being in FCW. So I don't know. I mean, he's already on Ring of Honor a lot more than some other guys. So I just thought that was kind of funny, but did enjoy that match. Then we get Brutal Bob Evans versus Adam Cole. Bob cuts a promo calling Cole a boy and says wrestling's a man's sport and he's going to humble Cole. I didn't really care for this. It was alright. I mean, Brutal Bob was definitely getting a lot of cheers here. I guess being his hometown, or whatever, like an area he wrestled. So a lot of people were rooting for Bob here. And I mean, it was alright. It it didn't really do that much for me. And being a pay-per-view match and everything, it's kind of just whatever, But Cole eventually gets him in a figure four, and Bob taps out to it. Bennett and Maria come out to attack Cole, and they get chased away by Eddie Edwards and Sarah Del Rey. And then it just got really crazy for this next segment with Michael Elgin, who comes out with Truth Martini and Roderick Strong. And this was just nuts. Truth has Kevin Kelly come into the ring. And he says that he can see the future and Steen's going to retain the belt tonight. And he says that the destiny of the title will be Rhino versus Steen at Death Before Dishonor, the next pay-per-view. So Kelly asks, well, what's going on with Roderick and Elgin? They're not getting along. And Truth says that they're actually going to team up and enter this tag team title tournament. So the first thing I'm thinking is, doesn't that mean they're eventually going to have to face the Guardians of Truth, who are also part of the House of Truth? Like, how can you have two teams in the same tournament? He also says something about Hoopla, and the fans start chanting that at him. Elgin says he's getting a title shot at Glory by Honor. I guess regardless of who wins, Rhino or Steen. And Roderick gets pissed off about this. He thinks he's supposed to get the title shot, and he says that he's going on strike from the House of Truth. And I am a big Truth Martini fan. I think he's great at what he does. In fact, he's got an awesome interview up on the Art of Wrestling podcast with Colt Cabana that's just crazy. And it's a really good, entertaining listen for this Truth Martini interview. So I am a fan. But I have to say, this whole thing was just bad. It was very confusing, and it just did not come across well at all. Even Truth wasn't his usual self. It was like he was off his game or something, and I don't know. So we get Michael Elgin versus Charlie Haas. Roderick comes back with a bunch of beer, and he's sitting and drinking beer, watching the match, distracting Elgin. Everyone ends up drinking beer. Elgin spears Charlie Haas into Roderick Strong, and Elgin drinks a beer and pours one on Roderick. And Kevin Kelly actually says, one for Elgin and one for my homies too. But Roderick spits beer into Elgin's face. Charlie Haas rolls him up, pulls the tights, gets the win. It just wasn't very good. I think after the segment with the setting up the future matches, and then the match itself just didn't really deliver. I mean, it already had a lot against it, just kind of being, Elgin versus Charlie Haas, and there was just no reason for it. It was just kind of a match, so it didn't really have a lot of, heat or anything behind it anyways. And then to add in all this crazy stuff with the beer, I don't know, it just wasn't very good. So they show footage of the Briscoes versus Kevin Steen and Jimmy Jacobs at, I think, a Milwaukee show, with Mark Briscoe hitting this awesome dive off the balcony. This just looked crazy. If you can find a clip of this, definitely check it out. And, where am I here? Then we get the Briscoes versus Steve Corino and Jimmy Jacobs. I like this. They brawl around for a while. Mark hits his move where he walks across the top, or the middle rope. And then Jimmy Jacobs does his own version where he's dancing around, and I thought that was good. But the Briscoes hit the Doomsday Device, get the win, and I liked the match, but the crowd was like dead as hell for this for some reason. I mean, they just weren't into it at all. But I thought it was pretty good, it's just the crowd hurt this one. Tommaso Ciampa with R.D. Evans and new music versus Jay Lethal in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Ciampa refuses to shake hands, so R.D. Evans comes in the ring. He says he shakes hands for him. He tries to shake Jay Lethal's hand. Lethal slaps him across the face. Ciampa attacks him. They fight a little bit, and Lethal knocks Ciampa out of the ring, and his knee is immediately injured. Like, first thing in this match, he's working on a hurt knee. So I was already thinking, they have to go 2 out of 3 falls. I mean, how are they going to do this? But damn, Ciampa is a machine out there. The stuff he was doing with this injury, and it turned out to be one of the best matches on this show, despite this. So he kicks out of the lethal injection. Jay Lethal hits lethal combination for the first fall. This happened pretty quickly. Ciampa pulls up the mat. Lethal reverses it, hits a suplex onto him on the floor, then hits one on R.D. Evans. Ciampa hits a nasty high knee, and then Project Ciampa for the second fall. Ciampa hits a Celtic Cross on the apron. R.D. Evans distracts the ref, and Ciampa low blows Lethal. So Prince Nana comes out. He starts attacking Artie Evans. Ciampa clotheslines Prince Nana, and then he gets back in the ring, and Jay Lethal low blows Ciampa behind the ref's back, and he hits Lethal Injection for the win. So Jay Lethal goes over, and this was a good match, and I mean, I have to assume that the injury was legit. I understand when you're trying to do like a worked injury or something, which is what they did later on in the night, but I just don't see this one being a worked angle here. I think it was a legit injury because I don't see the logic in having him hobble around for a 2 out of 3 falls match the entire time. It doesn't make any sense. You're just limiting the guy in what he can do. So I do think he was legit hurt here. But great job by Ciampa. So Eddie Edwards and Sarah Del Rey versus Mike Bennett and Maria. Bennett taps to the single leg Boston Crab while Del Rey chases Maria under the ring. She comes back with Maria's top. Bennett covers her up with Bobby Cruz's jacket and takes her to the back. I gotta be honest, I didn't care for it. I didn't really like this at all. It was just kind of average at best. So, Eddie Kingston versus Kevin Steen with Jimmy Jacobs and Carino for the world title. The match has now been decided that it's going to be no disqualification. Carino comes down to do commentary, but you can't hear him at all. Thankfully, they get it to start working, and I was kind of worried about that because I do like Carino on commentary. However, Kingston attacks him, and Carino and Jimmy Jacobs start attacking Eddie Kingston because it's no DQ. Kingston hits a dive on him and then just carries them to the back. Why this kept them back there, I have no idea, but they just stayed in the back after this. So that was kind of goofy. But Steen and Kingston start brawling. Jacobs and Carino keep getting involved. Oh wait, I just told you about that. So Kingston suplexes Steen through a table on the outside, and Kingston goes to bring in another table, and Steen hits this crazy baseball slide into the table. It looked like it just busted Eddie Kingston right in the face. Looked very painful to me. And Steen then hits a powerbomb on Eddie Kingston through an upside down table, the side with the legs. And it's set up between the barricade and the ring apron. And he just powerbombs Kingston through this, and this just kills Eddie Kingston. He's gone. I mean, he's done. They have all the refs, they got officials. They're checking on him. He's selling it like, oh, my back, I can't move. He's down for a while. They get like a stretcher. They're trying to carry him to the back. I legit thought he was injured. Steen is cutting these crazy promos in the ring on Jim Cornette, and he's making fun of the pay-per-view feed, how Ring of Honor's had all these pay-per-view problems. They're carrying the stretcher, and he's like, watch out for those wires. The pay-per-view could go down at any minute. And then he says something about Larry Sweeney, and this causes Eddie Kingston to snap. He runs back into the ring. He's full of rage. He backdrops Steen through a table, and Carino comes back, but Rhett Titus chases him off, and then Jimmy Jacobs comes back, and Kingston knocks him out. Steen low blows him, hits an F5, but Kingston kicks out of this. Steen beats him with some chairs, and Kingston spits in his face and says, "You're going to have to kill me." So Steen hits another F5 onto some standing chairs, and he gets the win. And I thought this was pretty good. Some people may not care for the whole having him sell like he's dead and then getting fired up and coming back, but I thought they pulled it off here. It looked real, and that's what's important. I mean, the entire thing did look very real. I thought Kingston was out. I thought they're kind of screwed, and Steen's just going to cut some promos. I didn't know what they were going to do. But then he came back, and they had a good match. And afterwards, Kevin Steen is like, he was getting into it with some fan. And he goes to say something to the fan, and the fan pushes him. And then Steen just slaps the shit out of this guy a couple times and takes him down with one hit. It was pretty damn awesome. And I think that a friend of mine, Solex, here on YouTube, has showed me some of these clips of True TV where they follow like Ring of Honor security. I don't know how old this is, and I know a lot of stuff on True TV is at work, but I know that they do have problems with security, and if a fan does touch a wrestler, I'm pretty sure they're allowed to hit them back. I don't know the specifics of it, but it made me think that this could be legit. However, you do have the entire Jim Cornette saying that Steen is a loose cannon, he can't be trusted, he's going to bring all these lawsuits to Ring of Honor, so the most logical thing is that, yes, this guy was a plant, Steen was supposed to hit him, and it was all a work. But damn it, I don't want to believe that, you know? I want to believe that this guy was just talking shit and just got, you know, slapped in the face. But yeah, the most logical thing is it obviously, you know, was a work, but I guess we'll find out. So that was it. That was Boiling Point 2012. Pretty good show. I mean, $15, and the wrestling was great. Sure, the matches were kind of thrown together, but I mean, so are a lot of other companies who have billions of dollars. And I thought the wrestling here was still better than those other billion-dollar companies. And you really can't argue that fact. I mean, I don't even know what I would consider their worst match on here. Probably Elgin versus Charlie Haas. But yeah, they had a lot of great matches, and despite, you know, the Ciampa injury with Jay Lethal, that was still a great match, and main event definitely delivered. So I did enjoy this show, and I guess now I'm going to watch the weekly TV show and have that review up here shortly. So hope you guys like this video. Leave your thoughts on Boiling Point in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Bye.